Hello. Well, this is what I'm going to talk about today. Retroversal causality. So that's the direction that we see time going in. If you have to take both directions of time into account, that's what makes retrocausality. So the past is influencing the future is influencing the past, but there is a constant flux and flow of influence from both directions all the time. It's not a linear arrow that we perceive we live in at all. It's a two-way street. And that space is infinitesimally small. The present is infinitesimally tiny. We perceive moments and seconds and nanoseconds just rolling and tumbling by as a permanent version of particle reality, but that's not the case at all. We've come together to create a particle reality in the split nanosecond of time in which we exist. The rest of the time, we're a waveform, just like everything else is a waveform. And they know this is true of particles. If it's true of particles, it's true of people and everything else that we see around us. So we've got this band of time that exists in present format. And within that bound of time, there's that line that says singularity, a singular version of self, a singular identity, that we have a singular identity to ourselves that nothing else shares, and so does every other atom and every other version of snowflakes and grains of sand and all the other unique things we've talked about, owls, etc. Unique owls. This funnel of time feeds into a kind of a pool. You can see how the waves kind of cause the ripple effect in this pool of time that we perceive ourselves to be in. If we're sitting in a meeting or we're sitting in front of a TV, we're in a pool of time that seems to not change very much. But then big changes can come in, and they can throw things into the woodwork like spanners. So at any point here, with this pool of time to work with, you could say that we've got kind of this point triangulated with this point. The triangle reverts down to a circle. Wherever there's a triangle, you add up the angles, you add up the degrees, it's 360, it's a circle. And where you've got this triangulation, you've got the two versions that could have happened. So they're the two options could have happened. And the third one is what did happen. So that's where the waveform collapsed into an actual particle reality that did happen. But always, because of superposition, there are two options or more. I mean, we don't know how many options. Could be an infinite number of options. We've got to take the multiverse into account somewhere. So now that we've got this triangulation, if I draw the circle, sorry, Wall. The circles in nature generally are helical. They form oscillating helixes, orbits, spirals, chirality. So circles tend to turn into those in nature, one way or the other. So having made the retrocausal aspect of time into a funnel system, it creates a pool of time in which causality creates its effects. So we have options, we fall into one version of those options. This then creates a funnel, if you like, into which our singularity falls. Now, hopefully this makes sense. And if it does, then we can triangulate with this as well, just for good measure. And this is an example of an illustration that could well work in practice, in real physics, one day when retrocausality and the multiverse and causality and the whole universal construct of time and the fabric of space-time and the fabric of the quantum fields starts to come together and make sense, then we could be cooking with gas. So stick around. See you there. Have fun. Love you loads. Bye.